It's at a time of geopolitical tensions, conflicts, and economic nationalism that 21 Asia-Pacific economies will gather at the APEC leaders meeting in Gyeongju, South Korea. In the face of rapid, dizzying shifts in digital technology, climate and demographics, regional and global cooperation is crucial. But can countries work together at an age when many profess multilateralism is dead? To reflect on this, Arirang TV speaks with the 8th United Nations Secretary-General, His Excellency Ban Ki-moon, drawing on his remarkable experience in bridging divides and shaping global governance. Today, he leads the Ban Ki-moon Foundation for a Better Future and chairs the Global Green Growth Institute. Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon, thank you very much for being with us today.
It's a great pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
In recent years, it's become rather fashionable to say that multilateralism is dead, that we're seeing the end of the liberal international order as we see major global powers disregard global institutions, the rule of law, other democratic values. And many say that the United States is now exerting pressure and power play, driving away its allies and partners. And, well, how do you see the future of global alliances and cooperation?
I'm not telling you this because I served as a Secretary General of the United Nations. The United Nations is a symbol of the multilateralism. There is not a single country or single individual in this world, however resourceful, however one powerful may be, there is nobody, no country which can do alone in addressing the challenges we are facing in 21st century. That means climate change issues. For example, the United States is the most powerful, most resourceful country, leader country of the world, no doubt about that. US cannot do it alone. We must join all our hands on the deck together, be they political or business leaders, civil society, men and women, young people. We have moral duty to transfer this only planet Earth to our succeeding generations, to the generation next decade, next centuries. This is a very important political responsibility for those people who are in power now, including the United States, European Union. Therefore, unless United States, European Union, and China join their hands together, then only people living in South Africa and other small island developing countries and low-income countries, they have no means. We must utilize all resources, all scientific technologies. If we use our resources and technologies wisely to adapt to changing situation, then we can make sure that our planet Earth will be the place where our succeeding generation will have to live. So I'm urging again, let's work together. Let's work together. That's now my moral responsibility. I do not have any political responsibility now, but those people who are in power, they bear historical as well as political responsibility. I'm sure that history will judge their leadership later.
Well, you're seen as the very embodiment of multilateralism, the values of peace, cooperation, resilience. They haven't just defined your career, but they've been embedded throughout your life, from your childhood during war to your leadership of the United Nations. Based on your experience, what lessons should we take away, and what kind of leadership do you think is needed for the future of humanity?
The international community, including our humanity as well as this planet Earth, are facing very serious problem by rapidly approaching climate phenomena. We do not have any time to wait. We must take urgent action. That is why I'm proud that during my time as a Secretary General, I was able to bring all the leaders of the world, be they political leaders, business leaders, civil society leaders, or young generation, our women's group. That's the only moment when whole world's people join together as one. That is the Paris Climate Change Agreement on December 12, 2015. Another moment, if I may add one more, whole world's people became one when they adopted the Sustainable Development Goals with the 17 goals. Now this will provide all aspects of our life, including that of our planet Earth, including climate change issues. It's very heartbreaking when leaders are not doing much. In that regard, I am deeply sorry and regretted that the United States, under the presidency of President Trump, has withdrawn for the second time this year, as soon as he became the President of the United States. U.S. cannot live alone. The climate change does not respect any country, including United States. It affects the whole of the countries and whole of the people. Therefore, we must join all our hands together. We do not have time to wait. I'm urging, particularly political leaders, who are much more interested in having their political power in their hands, but that's not important. Anybody can succeed, any president, any leaders. Then we have to do what we have to do for our succeeding generation, including our planet Earth, the only planet Earth we have at this time.
21 APEC economies will meet in Gyeongju this month under the theme of building a sustainable tomorrow. But the question here is, Secretary General, can countries actually deliver real cooperation when, as you said, major powers are so divided? And what is Korea's role in all of this in a world that's so fractured?
The APEC summit meeting, which will take place in Gyeongju at the end of this month, is taking place at a significantly and very important timing. Now that the United States President and Chinese President and Russia is also member state, I sincerely hope that they sit down together with a humble mind for the future of our planet Earth and also humanity as a whole. They must open up their minds, regardless of what kind of national interest. National interest of any country is not that important. Now they have to have a broader vision, global vision. That's why people picked them as their leaders of the country. That's why the world's people are looking to them, because they are number one and number two military or economic powers. So if they agree to work on this global agenda, then I think we can do it. I sincerely hope that the United States reconsider to come back, join this rank of whole planet, whole global citizens and countries in implementing the Paris Climate Change Agreement. That's my honest call as now one of the civil society leaders.
Of course, the Paris Climate Agreement remains the most consequential agreement that the world has ever reached on climate action and sustainability. And it's been 10 years since that deal was reached. So how do you think we're doing? Is the world on track?
When the world leaders and business leaders and civil society leaders agreed in Paris to this Paris Climate Change Agreement, I think that was the most far-reaching vision, most far-reaching international agreement which I have ever seen in my long diplomatic career. That was the moment when whole leaders became one. You may not know that there was no such case when more than 100 president and prime ministers, I'm not talking about ministers, from 155 countries gathered in one place in one day. Normally, more such leaders will come to United Nations, but they come over 2 weeks' time. But that was only one day, December 12, 2015, when more than 55 leaders gathered in one place, including President Obama and President Xi Jinping, President Putin. So everybody was there. I was Secretary General at the time, and I felt very grateful to the leaders of the world who became one mind. One mind. I have not been able to see such kind of a historic moment during the remainder of my time, and even during the last 10 years. Leaders have been divided, much more than before. That's why I'm worrying, very much worried, as former Secretary General and as one of the global citizens. So I'm really urging and appealing to global leaders to do much more. Now, then, we cannot always talk like this way. We have to provide necessary resources. First of all, money, funding, and technology, resources. Without these material support, we cannot do it. You cannot just talk climate change go away like this way, it will not go away. So we have to really do all what we can in our hands together. I again appeal the United States return to the Paris Climate Change Agreement. United States and China have been the leaders of this campaign. And then suddenly President Trump, during his first term as president, withdrew. And this time he withdrew on the very day of his inauguration, January 20th. So I was deeply troubled, deeply sorry, and this is quite regrettable. I sincerely hope that once the U.S. returns to, there will be a much more powerful phenomena in carrying out this torch.
And of course, beyond your tenure as UN Secretary General, you're still at the forefront of efforts to fulfill the Paris climate goals. And in doing so, you're chairing the Global Green Growth Institute, which is, of course, hosting the annual Global Green Growth Week. So what would be your message this year?
Now, many United Nations organizations relating to climate issues, for example, WMO, World Meteorological Organization, they have declared that the global temperature rise has risen more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. It was very much surprising. The target of the climate change agreement, which was adopted in Paris, was to contain the global temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius. Then IPCC, this is a group of more than 1,000 scientists gathering. They announced that the global temperature rise should be contained below 1.5 degrees. WMO has announced that it has already gone up 1.55. But I think we are not too late. We can handle this matter if we work together. That's why I was very much encouraged when last year in Azerbaijan, the global leaders gathered, and they promised, advanced country leaders promised that they will provide $300 billion a year to the developing countries. During my time as a Secretary General in 2009 in Copenhagen, Denmark, the global leaders announced $100 billion a year. So it has tripled. It's a good sign. So there are some money. Now, many developed countries like OECD and even Korea, Japan, they are ready to provide their technological support to those countries. Those poor countries, what we call global south, they have done nothing to cause climate change phenomena. It is basically United Kingdom, Europeans, and also United States, and even Korea, in the name of making industrialization. Of course, our life has been much more convenient. We fly airplane, we have much better cars, but now it is very seriously, we have to look at how we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions. As you know, European Union has taken very important initiative, what is called as a CBAM, CBAM. This is to protect all these imported goods. They will check all the imported goods like cars. When they export diesel cars or gasoline cars, they will heavily be taxed. So they will not allow it. So I sincerely hope that European Union, United States, Japan, Korea, and China, Russia, they are major emitting countries. They are major 10 emitting countries in the world. They should do much more, invest for the benefit of saving this planet Earth, for the benefit of protecting human beings. The Secretary General of the United Nations, he made a very serious comment. During my time as a Secretary General, we are talking global warming. We've been terming it global warming. Then it has grown to global heating. Then Secretary General Guterres recently announced that we are living in a global boiling era. Boiling. Boiling means water is boiling with 100 degrees now. Of course, it has not gone 100, but this is an expression of giving warning to the people of the world, particularly the leadership level people. I sincerely hope and I urge the political leaders to much more be united for the sake of humanity, saving humanity. This is the only place where we can live.
So we are living in a time of very urgent issues that countries need to cooperate on to commonly tackle and face. So since we're so divided at this moment, we're living in such a fractured world, what should South Korea's role be in driving global governance?
Korea is one of the 10th largest economy in the world. I'm proud. We were very poor. War devastated everything. But from the debris of war, Korea has shown a great example that even a poor country can join the OECD and can become one of the 10th largest economy. That's what I believe Korean people worked very hard with the good political leadership. But it's not always the same around the world. When you go to global south, they're still very poor, the level of their living standard. And the children do not have any school. And particularly girls, they are employed in some very low income, hard labors. Therefore, I sincerely hope that while we are living in the 21st century, we have everything in our hands. Science, technologies, and money, and political will. But only, which I'm urging, is that this political will should be used for global purpose, not for extending their political mandate as a presidency or prime ministers like this way. So this is a very short vision, very near vision. But they should have opened up their far vision. I have traveled many countries around the world. I'm not a scientist. I'm just Secretary General. So to have the confidence and strength in my work, I decided to see for myself what is happening in Antarctica, what is happening in Arctic. So I visited altogether 5 times. Standing on the melting ice, global ice, I spoke out to the world's people. Arctic glaciers are melting. Sea level is rising. We have no time to wait. We must take action now. Otherwise, you will regret to our succeeding generation. This has been my continuing messages. And I visited small island developing countries in South Pacific, like then if you go nearby from here, Indonesia, Jakarta is now sinking underwater. They have to relocate their capital to another area. So there is no time to wait. We have to join all our determined mind and our hands together. That's my urgent appeal at this time.
As Global Green Growth Week and APEC 2025 will both be hosted here in South Korea, how do you hope to see Seoul play a role in aligning goals for growth with sustainability, digital technology and future generations?
This is the second time for Korea to host the APEC summit. When I was a foreign minister, it was 2005. We hosted one APEC summit here, and we are proud that we are going to host it for second time. And I'm also encouraged that including President Trump and President Xi Jinping and most of the big countries' leaders are coming to participate in this matter. This should not be just one of the many summit meetings. This should be regarded by the leaders as the most serious APEC meeting. APEC is Asia Pacific, but we should not confine it to the limit of Asia Pacific. They have to talk about and discuss about the global agenda rather than interchanges between Asia Pacific. Asia Pacific, they are all well-to-do countries. We have to look beyond the boundaries of Asia Pacific. Otherwise, we will never be able to declare that we are living in a sustainable world. We have been working very hard to make a sustainable world for all the people around the world, for the countries. In that regard, again, I'm proud that during my time, I was able to have 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So those two, SDGs and climate change, are two most important for this decade and coming decade, that our humanity use all our power, resources to make sure that we can declare later on, I did my best, we did my best for our succeeding generation so that they can live without any fear of climate phenomena and without any fear of poverty. The SDG mentions aims that there should be nobody who should die from preventable diseases, and there should be no poverty. This is a very far-reaching goals, which world leaders will really be able to implement for the sake of our own living, as well as for the sake of our planet Earth. Thank you.
Thank you. This is where we'll wrap up with these words. You once said that in any great endeavour requiring the common effort of many nations, men and women everywhere, it is only through the seriousness of purpose and persistence that we can ultimately carry the day. And you, Secretary General Pan, are still carrying the day for us to a sustainable tomorrow. Thank you for your efforts and for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.